detailing.
I'm certified meteorologist Ben Walnick. Tornado warning just issued in northern parts of Osage County. That's for this storm just north of Heard. This warning includes far northeastern parts of Osage County and into far northern parts of Washington County. Let me zoom in on this storm that we're seeing right now. Zooming in quickly, just southeast of Elgin. That's where we've got the hail core in the storm. And this notch right here is what we're looking at just southeast of Elgin by about 5 miles in the northeastern corner of Osage County. You can see our high resolution Fox23 Doppler radar update right there. This notch in the storm is the area of rotation that we're watching very carefully. In fact, I can pull up one of our tools to show any rotation with this storm. And when we get these blue and green colors, this is showing that rotation. And this is the area that we're watching very, very carefully. This is just due south of Chautauqua by about 5 miles. So very close to the border with Kansas here, but in far northeastern parts of Osage County. That classic view that we show of those red and greens showing the rotation, and we're seeing that right here just south of the state line. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist James Adelot tracking this tornado warning.
Well, here's the update. As Ben said, northern parts of Osage County and extreme northern Washington County. This is north of Copan, Dewey, and Bartlesville, and just north of Bowring right now. So that main rotation right along Highway 99 northwest of Bowring. And we can do a tornado warning track on this storm as it moves toward the east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So a 30-minute track does move it across the state line toward Hickory Hill, Hula, and right on the Kansas-Oklahoma state line, right on Highway 75 in the community of Caney. You can see this is all north of Copan, north of Copan Lake, and north of Dewey and Bartlesville. I want to zoom in a little bit further on this storm because this is the danger area right along Highway 99 right now. I'm going to drop that track off there as we continue to just zoom in. Here is Belangerville. This is the part of the thunderstorm that we could be seeing a tornado form as that continues to move toward the east-northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. The rotation has been very strong with this storm. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's in southeast Oklahoma for LaFleur County, so just out of our area. But main attention focused right on the Belangerville area and that possible tornado. I want to zoom out just a touch with this as we continue to see in that northeastern corner of Osage County, north of Bowring. This is Highway 10, so from Bowring west to Highway 99 along Highway 10, the warning is north of you. So we're seeing the possible rotation and a possible tornado trying to develop right now right along Highway 99. We'll continue to watch this storm as it moves toward the east-northeast right now. The latest track on it, we put that track right in that rotating part of the thunderstorm for about the next 20 to 25 minutes here. The tornado warning valid until 7 o'clock, so we'll be here with you. Even though this storm is in northeastern parts of Osage County, we will continue to track this storm for you right along the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. So Hickory Hill and Caney between now and 7 o'clock. As that continues to move toward the east-northeast, we don't have any confirmation of a tornado and no funnel cloud has been sighted, but we are continuing to watch very, very closely. The rotation is very strong with this thunderstorm too. Want to bring your attention a little bit further to the south because we still have some very strong thunderstorms that have developed to the west of Tulsa and one severe thunderstorm warning in Lincoln County. If these hold together, they could be moving up toward the metro area between 7 and 7:30. Want to do a track on the thunderstorms that are northwest of Tulsa now, and as they move to the north-northeast or to the east-northeast over the next hour, moving toward Jubies, Ramona, Skiatook, Sperry, Collinsville, Oologah, New Alloway, and toward Winganon too. As they move to the northeast, the main threat here will be hail. We also have that thunderstorm in Lincoln County that has produced some hail up to golf ball size just before 6:20. That moving up to the northeast too could slide into parts of Creek County over the next hour, Stroud, Depew, Welty, toward Bristow, and toward Tuskegee too. But the main focus still on that developing thunderstorm and possible tornado located just to the northeastern corner of Osage County right now. So that's the rotation. You can see it moving here right along within probably about 5 miles of the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. But again, Chautauqua County, Montgomery County in our coverage area too. I expect that warning to be pushed up into extreme southern Chautauqua and western Montgomery County as we watch this potential tornado pass north of Bartlesville. Bringing in our radio partners right now, KRMG 102.3 FM and AM 740 for a tornado warning in extreme northeastern Osage County and extreme northern Washington County. Copan, Dewey, Bartlesville, Bartlesville not included, and there is no imminent severe weather threat in Tulsa right now. But what we are watching is that very strong rotation just along and east of Highway 99. So this is just south of the community of Chautauqua, Kansas. And as this continues moving toward the east-northeast, north of Copan, where you cross over Copan Reservoir, cross the border, head into Caney, Kansas, this is what we're watching very, very closely. Officially, of course, Caney is in Montgomery County, not in this tornado warning, but if you're in Caney, you need to be ready to move to shelter really at a moment's notice. Also in the extreme northeastern part of Osage County here, new warnings just issued now until 7:30. That's a new severe thunderstorm warning that will include parts of Pawnee, Washington, Osage County, and Tulsa County too. So I'm going to show you that new warning that's posted, and these are for the thunderstorms we just talked about moving across northern parts of Tulsa County over the next few minutes. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning, and there you can see those thunderstorms as they move toward Westport. They produced nickel-sized hail a little earlier. Let's see what the National Weather Service is saying here. Looks like hail getting up close to $half size possible with this thunderstorm that's located just to the northeast of Westport. So that's going to continue to move toward the northeast. I'm going to give you an updated track on this. It really has, looks like it's increased quite a bit. I'm going to do a line track on the leading edge of this too, with some of that hail possible as this moves across northern parts of Tulsa County. We're talking Skiatook, Sperry, Turley, Collinsville. This is a dramatic view on the left side of your screen from one of our Skyview network cameras looking to the west into that storm right now. That's the eastern Pawnee County storm close to Westport that'll be moving across southeastern Osage County, generally to the north of 412, and it looks like it may pass just to the north of downtown Tulsa here toward Turley, Sperry, and toward Skiatook too. So we're going to continue to watch this too. Our Fox 23 severe weather team coverage continues. Meteorologist Ben Wallach also standing by, tracking these thunderstorms. Still have that tornado warning in effect north of Tulsa in parts of northeastern Osage and extreme northern Washington County, Ben.
And I want to do a wide look of the storms that we're seeing right now. Our tornado warning here in far northeastern Osage County into northern parts of Washington County, very close to the state line there into Kansas. This new severe thunderstorm warning, and we have one more storm further to the southwest about to move into Creek County. We're watching this storm very carefully as well. And this storm just now moving into northern parts of Tulsa County. Let me move the map just a little bit so you can have a little bit of a better look at that, because I'm about to show you a view of this storm. So just to the northwest of the Tulsa Metro, just north of Manford. This is crossing from Pawnee County into Osage County. This is an area we're going to have to watch very carefully with this storm. In fact, here's our tornado warning that we're tracking very carefully as well. This is about to move over Lake Hula. This tracking in northeastern parts of, that's an update, I believe, to that tornado warning. And as we switch things over, check out our Fox 23 sky view. This is from North Tulsa looking back to the west, and some very low clouds here. The base of this storm is a little bit lower than the past few storms that we've been tracking. So we're watching this very carefully. A great view from our sky view in North Tulsa. This is near Turley looking back to the west. That's the storm that I was tracking moving over from Pawnee into Osage County and eventually into northern parts of Tulsa County. There is a severe thunderstorm warning with that storm, but there is at least some rotation that we're seeing on Fox 23 Doppler radar. In fact, I was just looking at that behind the scenes on high resolution Fox 23 Doppler radar. So this area we're watching very carefully because of how low it is to the ground. There's not much space here to where if we see this rotate at all, where it could produce at least a wall cloud, if not a tornado. So we're going to keep a close eye on this. We have an excellent view from our sky view, and we'll watch things carefully with that storm. But we do have a tornado warning right now for a different storm in Osage County. With more on that, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist James Adelot.
Continue to track that tornado warning right now. Again, it's just a very thin sliver, extreme northern Washington and northeastern parts of Osage County. Our radio partners have joined us right now on KRMG. That's FM 102.3 and on AM 740. As the severe weather team coverage, storm center coverage there. Obviously seeing some really large hail falling right along the Kansas-Oklahoma border southeast of Chautauqua. Our potential rotation, as I look at it just off screen right now on high resolution Doppler radar, looks like we're very close to Washashi State Park, maybe just on the north side of the lake there. So that's going to be our potential circulation southeast of the community of Chautauqua. So I'd put that circulation located right here, so just to the northwest of Highway 10. This is the community of Caney, Kansas. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning posted for Chautauqua County in Kansas, and that is for the strong storm, the hail core part of this thunderstorm, as it moves into southeastern parts of Chautauqua County. It looks like the heaviest will bypass the community of Sedan. Now, as we look, though, and do a track on where that potential tornado is, moving to the east-northeast, this will be a 20-minute track. This is the heads up you need. 655 at Caney. So if you're in this thin sliver here, all the way over to Caney, you need to take your tornado precautions. That means go to the lowest level, center part, smallest room of your house. If you are in a mobile home, get to a more substantial shelter. If you have a safe room, get into that. That would be our first choice, basement or safe room. And when you go into shelter, take a helmet and take a whistle too. Most tornado injuries are head injuries. Any kind of helmet will certainly help protect you from that, and take a whistle as well, just in case there is damage. You can alert search crews and rescue crews that you are okay. So have that whistle handy. Northeastern corner of Osage County, again crossing into northern Washington County, and maybe clipping the extreme southeastern corner of Chautauqua and southwestern part of Montgomery County too. So here's the ETA for Caney, Kansas. I'm looking at 655. As I expand the view, let's take a look into the metro area, because we also have an active severe thunderstorm warning taking place now in parts of the metro. This is for hail. As this storm continues to move toward the east-northeast, we could see hail, maybe even up to $half size, and wind gusts hit 60 miles per hour. We've seen some very weak rotation with this storm, but it's certainly not quite to the level that we saw from the earlier thunderstorm, at least the one earlier in Pawhuska that has fallen apart, and now the new rotating thunderstorm in the northeastern corner of Osage County. Main part of this storm will pass north of downtown Tulsa, north of Midtown, north of Brookside, north of Broken Arrow. We will continue to watch further south along this line of thunderstorms now, because a severe thunderstorm warning has been reissued for parts of Lincoln County. That's going to run until 7:15. If that thunderstorm holds on its present path, it's going to be moving into parts of western Creek County too. Let's do an updated path on that storm, because that's the one, if it continues moving toward the east-northeast, that could be moving up toward Bristow, eventually towards Sapulpa and into the metro area. So the ETA here, Stroud, 651, Milfay, Depew, moving over into parts of Creek County and back toward Bristow by 7:19. If that holds together, we'll push that into parts of the metro area, at least southwest metro area, just after 7:30 or so. Continuing to look to the west from our Skyview camera right now, we're seeing some lowerings taking place, but again, the key to this and seeing rotation in the clouds is a sustained rotation, and we continue to watch that very, very closely. You can see it's kind of a lot of ragged clouds on the bottom edge of this one right now, so really not saying we're seeing a funnel or anything like that with this storm to our west. It's very ragged looking clouds, kind of scud looking clouds that often happen when we have these strong updrafts in thunderstorms. And you can see what we did see earlier descending out of the base of that cloud has kind of broken up just a little bit, but it does look like we do have a little bit of a lowering, kind of a broader lowering on the base of that storm. Let's check in with certified meteorologist John Boyer, standing by, continuing to track these storms as we are. That tornado warning in effect until 7 o'clock, northeastern Osage, northern Washington County, John.
Yeah, that storm with the tornado warning, northeast Osage, very northern Washington County. I do have some new information about the hail situation with that one. According to some spotters with the National Weather Service in Wichita, not just quarter to golf ball size hail, but accumulating quarter to golf ball size hail, and that was in the town of Chautauqua in Chautauqua County. That severe hail is right along the Oklahoma-Kansas border. I'll draw on here. That's the hail core we're worried about right there, and may affect the communities of Niates and Caney within just minutes. If you have time to get the car in the garage in Caney, now's the time to do it. But this is a tornado-warned storm. The tornado warning does not at this time extend into Chautauqua or Montgomery counties, but it's a storm with rotation, so I would, in Caney, take tornado precautions. Northeast Osage County, this is just now approaching the Hula area. And then if you're watching in Washington County, earlier we had a storm producing severe hail in Copan. It looks like the worst of this hail with this storm is going to stay away from you in Copan, but not a good time to be driving north into Kansas at all. Bigger view, bigger perspective shows you we're monitoring a few areas right now. There's a severe thunderstorm in LaFleur County near Poto that's moving away from us, and that's really just for a hail threat. We also have this storm coming into the west side of Metro Tulsa, right over Keystone, extending back up into Osage County, moving east towards Skiatook and also towards Turley and Sperry, and eventually towards Owasso. That's capable of hail to half-dollar size and damaging wind gusts. Let's see, new report of quarter-size hail in Chautauqua, Kansas, the town. Severe weather threat through the rest of the evening, next few hours. Any of the strongest storms will be capable of rotation. And right now, we are not seeing sustained rotation in that storm on the west side of the Tulsa Metro, but it has a possibility of doing so. So we're just, and that's what you're seeing on the left side of your screen there. That's our sky view, looking from North Tulsa west across southern Osage County towards Keystone. That's what we're going to be keeping an eagle eye on here over the next several minutes to see if there's any sustained low-level rotation there. Currently, just a severe thunderstorm warning. Back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot. What have you learned?
Well, right now we continue to track that severe thunderstorm, and that's what we've been taking a very close view of from our Skyview network camera. Looking to the west right now, it is severe. It has some rotation in it, but that is not alarming on its own. That just indicates that we have the structure necessary in this thunderstorm to produce some large hail and probably also some damaging wind, too. Watching closely our tornado warning. Our tornado warned storm continues until 7 o'clock. Northern Osage County, northeastern Osage County, and extreme northern parts of Washington County, too. This is passing well to the north of Bartlesville, and new tornado warning coming for parts of the Tulsa metro area. We will keep it right here and have that update. In fact, I'm going to switch that down, and we're going to look at that storm. Let's go to the tower cam view really quick, our sky cam. Take that full on the left side. Thank you. What we're looking at, again, a little bit lower on the cloud. We're looking very close to the Westport area right now, and what we're seeing is increasing rotation. Meteorologist Ben Walnick and I were just talking about that just in the last few minutes. This is our Skyview network camera. We're looking west from about 66th Street north and Cincinnati. So we're about 6 miles north of downtown Tulsa. Want to stretch that out. There's the official warning coming out, and this will include parts of the city of Tulsa. The circulation now, the main circulation, is 15 miles to the west-northwest of downtown Tulsa. So we will continue to track this very, very closely as it moves. Want to read the text on that. Near Keystone State Park is what the National Weather Service is saying, and they're also updating the time, the track, and the motion of that to about 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to slow the previous storm motion down just a bit. I want to update you on the track and give you an idea. So what we're looking at is right in here. That's that potential circulation developing here. Here's the updated track. You can see as we have a really, really outstanding vantage point right now on our Skyview network of cameras on the left side of your screen. I'll put the track on the right side of your screen. This, over the next 40 minutes, will move across northern parts of the metro area. Very close to Pogue Airport in the next 10 minutes. Sperry by 7:13. Tulsa International Airport, 7:21. Owasso, very close. Need to be on alert in Owasso and ready to move to a place of safety if this holds together. And of course that goes for Collinsville and for Turley and for German Corner and all points north, including close to the Whirlpool plant, the new Macy's building west of Owasso too. Going to watch this very, very closely. Again, left side of your screen, this camera is located. I'll zoom in and actually show you exactly where we're at. Let me clear the track off the screen just a second here. I'm going to zoom in. Our camera is located just to the southwest of the community of Turley. We are looking west, right exactly where we need to be looking at this thunderstorm. In fact, the rotating part of this thunderstorm is moving directly toward our camera, so we will continue to see a very close vantage point of that, but certainly not seeing any funnel cloud yet. But with that circulation continuing, looks like just to the southwest of Westport right now, or just to the southeast of Westport right now, we have that tornado warning that's in effect until 7:30, and that will include parts of the city of Tulsa right now too. So the main circulation, and we're just now learning from Tulsa Emergency Management, all sirens, all tornado warning sirens in the city and rural parts of Tulsa County, north of 21st Street, will be sounding. If they're not sounding now, they'll be sounding soon. So you might be getting an alert that the tornado warning sirens are sounding right now. We don't have a confirmed tornado. We have a lowering, at least a wall cloud, often the precursor of a rotating thunderstorm. That's the left side of your screen. We're looking from our vantage point just southwest of Turley, west about 15 miles. We've got an unmatched view of this storm from about 100 feet up in the air. So it's just a terrific view, a terrific vantage point. So we're not seeing any organized rotation as far as funnel clouds. We haven't seen any indication that we have a tornado occurring right now. But looking west on this storm, close to Westport, in fact, just to the east now of Westport. I think you're all clear in Westport as we continue to track this thunderstorm and this potential tornado to the east. Let me zero in. Let's just zoom all the way in. What we're seeing right now, this is the Tulsa County line north of the Keystone Expressway. Here's the Luby's community, or Juby's community now from east of Westport. This is 412, right where we cross Lake Keystone right here, just to the northwest of Keystone State Park and the dam. So this is what we're looking at as it continues to move toward the east in extreme southeastern parts of Osage County. Let's check in with meteorologist Ben Walnick standing by. He's got an update for us, Ben, as the siren's starting to sound now in Metro Tulsa north of 21st Street.
Yeah, the sirens all sounding north of 21st Street. That means you probably can hear the sirens even a little bit further to the south. We just heard from Fox23's Lynn Casey, heard those sirens outside the studios at 31st and Memorial. So this warning for areas further to the north, the cutoff for that warning is basically right at 244, and areas to the north. The area that we're watching very carefully is still back towards Lake Keystone. Again, you're seeing a live view from our sky view in North Tulsa looking directly at that storm. And with the path the storm is taking, it's going to move right towards our camera, so we should have a view of it here at least until it gets past Turley. So at least here for the next 15 to 20 minutes, watching things very carefully. Also seeing some hail. Don't want to forget about that here in southeastern Osage County. That could track into far northern parts of the Tulsa metro as well. Hail up to the size of at least quarters, and could see some stones even larger than that. Now let's take a wider view now, looking first to the southwest. A severe thunderstorm warning just south of Stroud. That's going to move into Creek County. That storm looks a lot weaker here in the last few minutes. Zooming out and looping things here over the last few hours, we still have our tornado warning up in far northeastern part of Osage County. That's moving into Washington County as well. And we'll go ahead and track through all of the storms that we're seeing. First, that weaker storm just about to move into Creek County. This storm in northern parts of the Tulsa metro, that's what you're seeing on the side of your screen. If you're just now joining us, we have tornado warning in effect for Osage County, Washington County of a part of one storm, and then Pawnee and Tulsa County here for the next at least 15 to 30 minutes, with this storm just now moving into Osage County as well. So two different tornado warnings in Osage County. This is the new warning here about to move into northern parts of the Tulsa metro. And here is that full view you can see of that sky view being zoomed out. So you're seeing it twice right now, but a larger view here as we go full. As you can see, really this is the lowering we're watching. Still fairly high base, far off the ground, but definitely lower. You can see this area that's lower right here from the actual cloud base that is in this area right here, about 1,000 feet off the ground. The lowering a little bit lower, closer to, it looks like about 400 to 500 feet off the ground. This is the area we'd be watching both here and here, potentially to see any funnel form. At this time, not seeing anything that would resemble a funnel, but still something to watch very carefully, backlit nicely by the sun setting here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. And so we'll have just, you can't ask for a better view from the sky view of a severe storm with the potential of a wall cloud. So we're seeing, it looks like the area of interest we'll be watching would be from right here all the way back to the left side of the screen here, where we could see that tornado warning here for at least the next 30 minutes could produce a tornado, and we'll have a view of it here, right here on Fox 23. Now, the severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 9 o'clock this evening. That doesn't mean we can't see a tornado, as we're obviously in the tornado warning right now. And so it's something we're going to have to watch very, very carefully. Let's switch back to the radar view now, and I'll take a zoomed in view real quick of the storm that we're seeing just to the north of the Tulsa metro, just in southeastern parts of Osage County. This hail core right here near Lake Keystone, this tracking to the east into southeastern parts of Osage County. Here's where our camera is, our sky view in North Tulsa near Turley, looking back to the west. And here's a different view. This is looking towards downtown. This is from the Fox 23 sky view in East Tulsa, looking back to the west. And that's the lowering that we're seeing right there. You can see it near the skyline, even though the area of rotation that we're watching is very far from downtown. In fact, I'll show you with the measuring tool real quick before we toss things back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot. The distance here is about 12 to 13 miles. Let's check back in with James as he's got new information.
Okay, getting reports right now from one of the chasers in the field that's kind of on a storm chase tour that we may have had at least a brief touchdown here. So watching this very, very closely. Left side of your screen looking over downtown. Let's switch that out now to our North Tulsa camera if we could as we continue to watch very, very close. No, the North Tulsa camera, please. That's the airport. Okay, this is what we're looking at very, very closely right now. So one of the storm chasers out in the field just tweeted to me that he did have a tornado occurring with this storm. What we're talking about, I'm going to stop this time lapse and we're going to zero in right now on where the potential of a tornado occurring with this storm. So we have a very large wall cloud occurring with this storm right now. You can certainly see that. And you don't have to have a funnel cloud all the way to the ground to see a tornado actually occur. By definition, the tornado is just the wind on the ground. So even if we do have the wind on the ground, without a funnel cloud, that would certainly qualify. So there's our circulation. It's very close to Pogue Airport, just to the northwest of the community of Sand Springs. I'm going to do a measurement on this from downtown Tulsa. Here's downtown. We're looking about 12 miles to the northwest of downtown Tulsa, kind of to the west-northwest. This storm is moving just barely to the north of due east. That's going to keep the danger area north of U.S. Highway 412. But Sand Springs, down Charles Page Boulevard, Central High School, Gilcrease Museum, crossing Highway 97, those tall towers north of Highway 90, north of Sand Springs on Highway 97. Of course, right on Pogue Airport right now. Eventually crossing into the county, over the county line towards Sperry and toward Turley too. So that is the rotating wall cloud that we have. This storm moving into an atmosphere that's very conducive for it to continue to strengthen and produce a tornado. So we're watching this closely. Our radio partners are with us right now with Storm Center coverage on KRMG 102.3 and AM 740. And you can always track our live coverage on our weather app in the case that you lose power. Here's the tornado warning track on this storm. So we take that danger area right into northern parts of Tulsa County, including parts of the northern sections of the city of Tulsa. Turley, Sperry, just after 7:15. TCC Northeast Campus, 7:19. Tulsa International Airport, we could be talking just a little bit after 7:20 as we continue to watch this wall cloud develop. It's very, very impressive wall cloud right now. Atmosphere is still very, very conducive to keep this thunderstorm rotating, to keep it maybe even stronger as it continues moving east toward and into northwest parts of the metro area. So what I'm looking at, again, are strong rotation, the tornado warning in effect. You need to be in the lowest level, center part, smallest room of your house. Also need to be away from any windows. If you're in a mobile home, you need to abandon that, get to a more substantial, sturdy shelter. North of Tulsa, we still have a tornado warning ongoing very close to Caney, Kansas, too. We don't want to forget about that storm north of Tulsa in northern parts of Washington County right now. That circulation very, very strong looking just to the south of Caney. Okay, that's Rick Marin on right now. That's his picture on the left side of the screen. He's one of our reporters out being a storm tracker for us. Where is he right now? Okay, he's in Bartlesville looking at this storm. The rotation continues very, very strong in this area. If you're in Caney, you need to be in tornado shelter right now. As this storm continues to move to the east-northeast, it'll be moving very, very close to Caney just in the next few minutes. What's that? Okay, let's on the left side of the screen, let's change out and go to our airport cam, our Skyview camera at the airport. Okay, there's the tower, our North Tulsa Tower cam. Again, you can see that pretty impressive wall cloud right now as we look over Terminal B, looking about 15 to 20 miles to the west here on the left side of your screen. So a very ominous looking wall cloud. And, we've had one report from a spotter, a chaser in the area that we did produce at least a tornado there, and we will continue to watch this. I'm going to actually take another look right now as we continue to track that storm located very close to Caney, Kansas right now. The airport camera, of course, still very impressive on that storm too. And I'm going to take a look at some of the high-resolution radar data right now, too. And what we've seen, some really strong rotation developing. We also have this severe thunderstorm watch in effect. That's until 9. and it looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning posted for parts of Nowata County. But our main concern are these two tornado warnings, one north of Bartlesville not included, the other north side of the city of Tulsa, Sperry, Turley, southeastern parts of Osage County. Looks like a mess of colors right here. This is Lotsie, this is Sand Springs. Looking up to the north, very strong rotation on the terminal Doppler radar with this storm as well. So continuing to watch this. This is a very serious situation. We've had one tornado, at least a brief tornado report with this storm in southeastern Osage County. Okay, let's check in Greg McLaughlin's view on the left side of your screen as he continues on this storm too. As we zoom back into the city of Tulsa, updated track on this storm. We're going to stop the, actually we're going to stop the animation here. And what I'm looking at very closely right into this storm, zoom in here. We're looking northwest of Sand Springs. Sand Springs, you're okay. This thunderstorm definitely bears watching. You know, just last year about this time, we, of course, dealt with that Sand Springs EF2 tornado. So what we're seeing as we look at these shots of the wall